by James Meehan. Veronica Carney. Elena Vibber. All right, let's give a round of applause. All right, let's give him a round of applause one more time. Just stay right there, please, okay? So parents, just want to welcome everybody here. I know we have a lot of friends and family here. I just want to let you know that we're so super excited to celebrate all of our students' accomplishments and achievements. Every single student that comes up, through our studios is very special to us. And this group especially is a special group. And the reason why it's a special group is, this is another group that's kind of, made it through the fire, so to speak, It's been a challenging time in our country, and these kids have been resilient, they've been dedicated, and I'll tell you what, man, they're going to be, the future leaders of our country, and I know that we're in a good spot, because if you can make it through that, you can make it through anything. And they really stuck through things, they've worked hard, they've been dedicated, and they're just phenomenal people. So let's make sure we give them one more round of applause. We're going to bow a little bit, and then we're going to have our individual performances. Our first performance, Danny Piccinini. Danny Piccinini. Get our next performance, James Meehan. James Meehan. Our next performance, Veronica Carney. Our next performance, Helena Vibber. All right, let's give Helena a round of applause. So before we continue with our group performance, we're just going to invite our candidates to come on out. We're going to do a little question and answer session. So this is kind of ad lib. We didn't review or go over any of the questions or answers, so we're going to see what we can come up with today. So come on out, candidates. All right, so why don't you have a seat for a second. We're also kind of giving them a little time to kind of catch their breath. So I'm going to start with Danny Piccinini. So Danny, I'm going to ask you maybe 3 questions today. I'll ask you each kind of maybe different questions. First of all, how old were you when you started martial arts? 4.5. 4.5 years old. So I'm just going to go back and kind of like give the story here. So Danny wasn't even born, I think, when his older brother Robert was doing karate, I would assume, right?
He was just born.
Just born. So like, his earliest memories are of his brother's probably at the higher rank. But it was always something that he wanted to do. And when he became 4.5, it was just like, I'm going to do karate. And, he was always in the parent area. And, me, I love kids, so I would always carry all the little kids. I probably have, Danny in one hand and probably my own kid in the other. And we'd always either be teaching class or playing in the fun area. And it's been a pleasure to see all 3 boys, work their ways through the ranks. And I think it was a picture just came up, I want to say yesterday, the day before, and I think Matthew got his belt 2016. Yeah. So, it's pretty cool that, we're in this place now. So, you were 4 years old when you started. How old are you now?
12.
12 years old? And so what grade is that? 6th grade. So let me ask you, what's been your favorite or your fondest memory of your karate training, up to date? So, if somebody asked you, hey, what's karate like, or what do you love about karate the most? What are you going to tell them?
Just getting beat up and going forward.
Getting beat up by who?
Sensei.
By sensei. Oh, man. You like getting beat up?
My sensei Christina.
Oh, Sensei Christina? Oh, she's tough, man. She's really tough.
I think she goes easy on me.
She goes easy on you? All right, we'll tell her to take it up a notch. She likes when you beat them up. You got to take it up a notch, okay? And so when you were taking the black belt test this time, was there any point during the testing where you maybe felt scared, nervous, or you were just unsure of yourself?
The first part.
The first part? Why?
Because I felt like, oh, this is how it's gonna be. It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be tough, right? It's gonna be tough. You said it. So how do you feel now that you got that part over? You got the physical fitness test over, and we're at the graduation.
Feel great.
Feel great?
Yeah.
Excited? I'll tell you, a lot of the kids go to sleep with their belts. The one thing I always tell parents is you can't really describe it, but when the kids go through the black belt testing, just something about them changes. For them, at this age, I think your major milestones are later in life. High school graduation, college graduation, your first job, that first paycheck, right? The big paycheck. Getting engaged, getting married, having kids. These are all big milestones. So for these young students, this is the start of a successful career, and it really jump starts them and gets them going. So let's make sure we give Danny a round of applause. Veronica, what kind of questions should I ask you today? First of all, Veronica, how old were you when you first started martial arts? 4.5, Mom. Can you confirm that?
That's correct.
Yeah, because I know Mom has all the numbers there. 4.5. Was it exactly 4.5 or 4 3/4? If you don't know. I'm just teasing you. Because how all the kids say, I'm 4 3/4, I'm 4 7/8. You're like, you're 4 years old. What's the difference? What is your first memory of karate? What do you remember when you were little? So somebody says, hey, what do you remember when you first did karate?
As far back as I can remember is, I think,
Orange belt. Okay, so what do you remember about orange belt?
Like, I remember the testing from yellow belt to orange belt, like, part of it.
What stands out in your mind the most?
I think at one point I had tripped.
So you tripped?
Yes.
And then what happened? Did you get upset? Or you don't remember?
I don't remember, but I passed.
All right, so, and you're here today. It's funny, you know, the Marlton Studio is celebrating their 25th anniversary this month. And in August, it'll be my 25th anniversary of teaching. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, I shared with the parents there is, you know, there's always going to be highs and lows, there's going to be ups and downs. You know, there's going to be, you know, times where the kids are really confident. There's going to be times, even in life, where, you know, they're going to go through struggles and they're going to, you know, have doubt in themselves. And it's really important that the one thing they have in common here, all the kids, is they have a really strong family unit. Like the parents are backing them up, they're taking them there, they're reassuring them, and they're just making sure that they're consistent. I really think that, you know, behind these kids, you know, our parents, they really love their kids and they want to see them be successful. And I know, being a parent myself, you know, we're willing to do anything and everything it takes in order to provide for our kids. We want our kids to, you know, experience the best. You know, we try our best to kind of, you know, make sure that it's a positive experience all the time. And sometimes, you know, you trip, you fall, you know, some things don't go your way. You know, we're just going to kind of, you know, guide you, reassure you, and then kind of help you along so that you continue. But I'm just so glad that you never quit. You know, sometimes a traumatic experience like that, you know, maybe getting hurt, feeling embarrassed, or feeling, you know, or doing something where, you know, they don't feel comfortable, you know, but you did it. You're here. So I'll tell you what, the one thing about Veronica, I will tell everybody, she's a different kid. I'm sure that, you know, mom and dad will say that she's just a lot more confident, a lot more outgoing, and just different. And for each kid, you know, the benefits that they're getting through their karate training, it varies. But, you know, for Veronica, she's really come out of her shell, and I think it's, you know, really wonderful, especially for a young lady. We have two young ladies here. Especially for a young lady to be assertive and to be able to defend themselves. So let's give Veronica a round of applause. All right, so we have Sensei Helena. I'm going to stand on this side so that we can see you guys. So we have Sensei Helena here. And so how old were you when you first started karate training? Do you remember?
No, like 3.
3?
No, you weren't that young.
How old? 5? All right, so we got the fact checker in the crowd, phoning a friend. Mom says 5 years old, okay? So at the time, for Helena's brother, Jacob, right? He was taking karate. I'm assuming that he started first. You know, here you are, you're looking over the wall, you're watching your brother, you know, do karate. And, you know, just like Danny over here, you think, wow, this is something that I want to do. So what is one of your first, you know, memories that you can think back all the way? Like, Veronica was like yellow belt to a white belt. Yellow belt, what was yours? You remember? You don't remember? How about your first black belt testing? Because she's going for senior black belt. So what did you think when you first went for your black belt? I asked Danny how he felt, but how did you feel?
Fine.
You felt fine? Did you think that it was hard? Did you think it was easy? You thought it was easy? Why did it was so easy?
This one was compared to your first one.
What do you think? Yeah, I think this one was easier too. Why do you think? I think, well, one of the things is we practice a lot, right? So we prepare, we practice, so that really, you know, the goal for us is that when they get to the actual test, they're more than prepared. You know, it's just like preparing for the SAT. You know, I mean, you could sit there and you know, worry about it, or you could just do as much prep as you can, you know, over-prepare, and that way when the time comes, you know, we really just want them to be physically ready and mentally ready. And again, these kids are great. So thanks, Lena. So what's the one thing, one piece of advice you would, you know, give to your classmates here? So, you know, you talked about, you know, maybe your essay, what black belt means to me, but what have you learned since you earned your black belt? Like, what's the one thing that you learned?
You need to make sure you have leadership because they'll be teaching classes full of younger kids.
Okay, so leadership, that's great. And Helena's a great leader. Oftentimes, you know, we'll have her helping with some of the younger students, maybe showing them some moves. I mean, it even came out here today, you know, we're putting some last minute things together. I'm going to share with you that, you know, things don't always go according to plan. So I thought I had the plan out perfect. You know, yesterday was a busy day. You know, I go out of the house 8 o'clock, take my daughter to go soccer. You know, I go to Marlton, I teach a seminar. I go back to soccer, then I take Sophia to basketball. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get the balloons, they're going to be all set. And so Sensei Christina did a wonderful job doing that. So I opened up the door today and I'm like, oh my gosh, that T blew up. Something happened and it exploded, and it was like on the ground, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So thankfully, Kim was home, and I was like, I'd love to have it. If we don't have it, it would be disappointing. So she went over and she called around. She went to some place in Mountain Laurel. She had the tea. She picked it up. She brought it over, and we survived. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things where, I really would feel devastated only because, I built up something in my head that I want the kids to experience. Like I know that we're not in a big theater and we don't have the huge crowds and stuff like that, but I want this moment to be special. I really want you to feel like, you got something from it and it's something you remember the rest of your life. Helena, we just love the fact that you've been such a good helper and such a good leader. We really appreciate it. So let's give Helena a round of applause. All right, we're going to go to James. So, Mr. James, do you remember how old you were when you first started training?
Probably like 4.
4 years old? Is that right, Mom?
I think it was 4 or 5.
Okay, 4 or 5. So, do you have any early memories of karate when you first started, or what sticks out in your mind through your training?
I kind of remember wanting the purple belt.
Why purple belt?
Because the kata looked cool.
Okay. So you wanted the purple belt. Well, you got the purple belt. So what?
I saw Michael had it, and I was jealous.
Michael Dell?
Yeah, Michael Dell had it, and I was jealous.
All right. Okay. So you tested the purple belt. What made you stick with it?
My family made me stick with it.
So I'm going to ask you a serious question, and I would love for you to give a serious answer. So was there ever a time, when you're training where you had doubt yourself, where you thought, whether I should continue or not?
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit about that? Because I think that's really important for today.
That was like a year ago. I felt like I wasn't really going up. Like I was on a red belt for like 2 years, or like a year or so, and I didn't feel like I was going to get to a black belt, so I was kind of doubting. I was like, I don't want to be in a red belt forever. So then I was kind of thinking of stopping, and then you and my parents were like telling me that I'll make it soon. So then I took off for the summer, and then I came back and I did it. Now I'm a black belt.
Yeah, so that's a story that I really wanted to share. James, I really appreciate it. I know I put you on the spot. The reason why I think that's important is because, again, it's one of those moments that, the parents, kind of support their child. And I remember talking to Jim, and we're like, he's like, I really don't want him to stop. He's like, but I think he'll come back. And I think it was like a combination of everything. At that point, March 13th, school's shut down, kids are locked into their house. You know what I mean? And it just, everything was just different. And I think there's a lot of stress and anxiety and things that were happening. And, at that point, we were only running classes on Zoom, so there really wasn't that physical connection, and it was difficult. And I think that he just needed a break. So I think we left it, we talked, and I said, if you ever decide that you want to come back, we would love to have you back. So, James took the summer off, and he came back. And not only did he come back, he came back refreshed, he came back excited, he came back motivated, and he's here today. So, we talked about it in karate class, a black belt is a white belt that never quit. Well, these kids never quit, and the thing is, too, the parents never quit on them either. So you parents, I know it's tough. Sometimes you bring your kids out kicking and screaming, but in the end, I think they're going to be better people, they're going to be better off. If they're able to accomplish and achieve their goals, and they're right there doing that. So, again, I want to just thank the parents. Let's make sure we give James a round of applause. So what we're going to do is we're going to just have you come off to the side, and we're going to get ready to do our group kata. So why don't we get our weapons together and get ready to finish. All right, so here's how it's going to work. every single kid that can have one. That'd be great. We're going to award the belts. So just really quick, I just want to say thank you to everybody, to the parents and all the families that came. Thank you for being our guests. Can you turn that down a little bit sometime? You know, we really just appreciate everybody's patience. I can tell just by looking at your faces how proud you are of these kids, and I'm going to tell you that I think I'm even more proud. You know, these kids, working with them, you know, really brings joy to me. But I just get a sense of satisfaction, you know, seeing them grow up throughout the years. And I know if you haven't had an opportunity to check them out, you know, I kind of gave the kids and the parents a little project, and it's put together a little poster of their kids. And the reason why I do that is, first of all, try and make this a little bit more special, you know, because we are having it in the studio. I thought, you know, we're going to leave these posters up for the other kids that come to school, private school, to be able to see for the next couple months. But I want you to be able to kind of bring back some memories as you're going through and looking at pictures. Because I think what happens is, you know, time goes by so quick, and I'm sure your parents can agree with me, like, you know, you see a picture and it seems like yesterday, and you look at the date, it was like 2016 that Matthew got his black belt. Or you see a picture, I think it came up and it was 2009 the other day. And I remember 2009 like it was yesterday, and now it's like so far away. These kids are great, you know. We're just so fortunate to have them here at the studio. I'm so proud of the fact they stuck with it no matter what. You heard some really great stories, and you got to know the kids a little bit more. But you know, COVID's been really tough for everybody, and especially for the kids. I mean, nothing's been the same for them. So, I mean, to me, this is where I was really, you know, really actually upset this morning. I was just so grateful that my wife was able to locate the letter T, otherwise it would be black belt. I mean, I had other plans, like, because Uncle Troy was here earlier, and I was like, well, maybe I could take a Mylar balloon and stick it to the back and kind of let it hang. I don't know, I was thinking, because the dollar store where I got it from, they're closed today. That's why I got it ahead of time. Like, I'm telling you, you make plans and you think you're ahead of the game, and then you're like, oh my gosh. So, look, I know that you've been waiting patiently for the last couple of years for this moment. So it's my pleasure to award you your black belt. I'm going to ask you to remove your old belt. All right, and as per our tradition, I'm going to ask you to fold up your old belt. And when you're done, we're going to put our new belts on together. All right, so today this is going to be a special day for you. I'm going to ask you to wipe some sweat. All right, that's for good luck. It's your new belt. New belt. And really what that symbolizes is all the hard work, all the effort, all the blood, the sweat, the tears, and in Danny's case, the bruising that it took to get here. I'm sure not only by his classmates, but his brothers beating him up along the way too. But I will tell you this, that the youngest kid in the family He's the toughest kid in the family, and you want to be nice to them because they're going to be the biggest, the strongest, and the most intimidating. So I'm going to be the nicest in my family to Olivia and Christian because they're just like bringing up the rear, and I think they're going to be even stronger and just more resilient than the other two that we have, or other two that we have. I'm going to ask you to put your new belts on. All right, parents, let's give them a round of applause. So when you're done, what we can do is we're going to take the group pictures, and take some individual pictures, and then we'll finish up. I'm going to turn the regular lights on. Make it a little bit easier.